Hello, my friends, and welcome. Super happy to be with you today, as always. And we are going to dive into one of my most favorite topics. So, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I love talking about reclaiming selfishness. And if you're new to me, and if this feels a little confronting, the idea of reclaiming selfishness, you're in the right place. Stay tuned. As we're getting going here, I want to just point out that I am teaching a brand new live video workshop next week, Wednesday, August 19th. And the link is nancylevin.com/workshop. So I would love for you to join me if you are interested in your own personal reinvention. So the workshop is called Your Reinvention Prescription. And I'm going to give you the very clear action plan of the way that you can reinvent your life. So whether you're wanting to shift gears in your career, you're wanting to change the dynamic in relationships, you're at a stage of your life where you're wanting to bring in something new, this workshop is for you. So again, nancylevin.com/workshop. Okay, so we're diving in to selfishness. And the first thing that I really want to ask you, I want you to consider for yourself is, have you been taught, do you believe that it's selfish to want what you want? So are you feeling that it's on some level not okay to have what you desire? And have you put selfishness in a bad light? Have you categorized selfish as a negative or bad quality that you don't want to have or be? Because here's the deal. I take the stand that selfish gets a really bad rap, that we've disowned selfish to such a degree that when we embrace selfless only, what's really happening is we disappear, we vanish. So what I'm wanting to support you in is being able to have the capacity to run the full range of selfish to selfless, knowing that you have the full gradient aspect of this quality. So it's not either or, it's not one or the other. And perhaps you've even thought that it was noble to be selfless, that it was polite to put everyone else ahead of you, that good girls or nice boys put everyone else first, and it's better to take the back seat. So I'm really wanting to support you to be able to step into your full visibility, step into center stage of your own life, and reclaim selfish from the place of knowing that selfish, self-love, and self-care are three sisters whose job it is to support you in honoring yourself. So here's the thing. Desire is natural. Wanting is natural. And in order to have what we want, in order to get what we want, we have to be able to open ourselves up to the receptivity. We have to open ourselves up to believing that it's safe to receive and that we're worthy of having what it is that we desire. And then from this place, we're really honoring and respecting our selfish self. So I want to support you in shifting your relationship with selfish from this negative quality, this something that you've disowned, something you've decided that you don't want to be, to an embracing of selfish as a way that you take care of and honor yourself. So let me just say a quick few hellos. Hey, Teresa. Oh, I see your note here, Yvette. Living for that necklace. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. I just got it. I love it too. So as as we're exploring this, I want you to really notice if you've been worried about appearing selfish, worried about feeling judged for being selfish, or criticized or critiqued around being selfish, or if you've been labeling yourself as selfish for wanting. Because this is another way that we keep ourselves small. This is another way we're packaging ourselves to be digestible to someone else. It's another way that we're dimming our own light. So everything we're always talking about here, and especially as we're moving into this phase of reinvention, it's really about being able, like I was saying before, to step into center stage in your own life. Because if you can embrace the wanting and the having, if you can embrace selfish, you're going to free yourself to build the momentum that you need to take action. So it all comes down to taking action. It all comes down to what are the choices you're making and what are the actions that you're taking to really create a shift in your own world. So as we're looking at selfish, I simply want you to check in with yourself around your relationship to that word. Is it something you've been shunning? And highly likely, if it is something that you've been shunning, it's highly likely that you've been attracting people toward you who show up in such a way that you would, in fact, point your finger to point them out for being selfish. So in other words, what we push away inside of ourselves, we draw toward us in others, and really they're simply there to hold up a mirror to reflect back to us the parts of us that we need to own and to integrate. So there's this great saying, there's no one else out there. Everyone's sort of, just imagine that everybody out there is simply a mirror for you to discover more about yourself. So John's saying, how about the old messages that have been given to us? Exactly, that's precisely what we're talking about. We're talking about what are the messages? Were you taught? What were you taught? What were you told? This is the origin point of your shadow beliefs. This is the origin point of the imprint. What did you make it mean about you if you showed up in such a way that could be conveyed or perceived as selfish? What did you make that mean about you? And did you make it mean something around the fact of it's not okay to want, it's not okay to have, it's not okay to put myself first? And so that's what we want to start looking at. What are the beliefs? What are the limiting shadow beliefs that got imprinted, and what's the conclusion that we drew about ourselves? Right, John. Okay, good. And Donna, your words are so powerful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. So we always want to be looking at what's the belief that is driving the bus of our life. So what happens is when we're very young, likely under 10 years old, this is really when our shadow beliefs, our limiting beliefs start getting imprinted in us. And what happens is events occur and we're too young to process and digest what's happening in a healthy way. So we instead begin to draw conclusions about ourselves. So this is when we start to draw the conclusions, the beliefs like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable. It's not okay to be selfish. And then we start seeing the ways in which we can buy love. So especially if you identify as a people pleaser, a peacekeeper, a conflict avoider, someone who doesn't want to rock the boat, it's highly likely that at some point you learned that that the way you could buy love, the way you could ensure love, was pleasing others, was taking a back seat to the needs of others, sublimating your own wants and needs in service of supporting everyone else's. And so that begins to imprint in us a belief that becomes magnetic. So our beliefs are magnetic. We draw toward us people, relationships, circumstances, situations that will reinforce and corroborate what we believe about ourselves. But here's the thing. Most of us relate to beliefs as if they're facts. but beliefs are not facts. A belief is simply a long-held idea about the way the world works and our role within it. So we can shift our beliefs. And this is a really important point. We can shift what we believe. But first, we have to bring the old belief into awareness. So we have to bring whatever we're holding around selfishness, for example, into awareness. What are you making selfish mean about you? How do you hold selfish? How can you consciously draw upon selfish to support you? How can you cultivate your selfishness? How can you give yourself permission to put yourself first? Right now, what I've been seeing, over the past several months as we've been in the pandemic, as we've been in this period of social unrest, as, everything that's been going on, there is this illumination of ways in which we've wanted to make changes in our life, and yet we haven't. We haven't out of fear. We haven't had the courage, perhaps. We haven't made it a priority. And yet this time seems to be illuminating and creating the space and creating a sense of urgency. So there's this feeling of, if not now, when? But I'll even go so far as to say that there's an energy of, it's now or never. It's now or never. Think about how much you want that you put off. Think about how much desire you have, the dreams you might have, that you keep locked away in a drawer, or that you just keep on the back burner waiting for someday. So that's why I'm saying the urgency is, it's now or never, because it is our default mechanism to simply go back to sleep. What is it going to take for you to stay up? What's it going to take for you to stay awake? What's it going to take for you to stay alert and alive and in the quest of your dream and desire? I know that for me, it all boils down to the combination of choices that we're making, actions that we're taking, and your own personal commitment and being willing to be held accountable to the commitment that you're making to yourself. So that's part of our relationship here. I show up here because I want to hold you accountable to the commitment that you're making to yourself. I want to show up here to guide you through the process, to guide you through the steps, so that you can reinvent with intent. Hey, Holly, nice to see you here, honey. So I really hope that you will join me next week for this free workshop next Wednesday, nancylevin.com/workshop. And we are going to be diving into your reinvention prescription. So we're going to be going into the specific phases and the specific steps that you can take to make change and to make lasting change, to make change that stick. We want to move our dreams out of our head into something that's real. Yvette, it's challenging not to think of selfish as being synonymous with narcissist. So here's the thing. I want to help you peel this apart, because even narcissist, while we keep narcissist in a bad light, there is a way in which we are all qualities. So there is a way that our narcissism shows, and there is a way that our narcissism can serve us. Now, I'm not talking about, diagnostic narcissism. I'm talking about garden variety narcissism. But there's the expression, what we resist persists. So the more you push away selfish, the more you push away narcissist, the more it's going to arise inside of you. So it's really just checking in around, in what way do I show up as this? In what way can I consciously call on this aspect to support me? So, I often share an example, especially for people who identify as empaths, which is, let's say it's the opposite of a narcissist. If we've got a narcissist and an empath, the narcissism of the empath, the way the empath expresses and presents her narcissism, is in the grandiosity of believing that we can fix, heal, save, or rescue someone else. So it's a simple way that can start to get you thinking about this, orienting to this in a different way. This comes up a lot in everything I do. The conversation about selfish, the conversation about narcissist, the conversation about putting yourself first. And here's what I want to say. It's not about disregarding anyone else. It's about the both and. So again, are you willing to consider yourself and your own needs at least as much as you're considering everyone else? Because right now it's highly likely you've got everyone else ahead and you are behind. Your needs are the last to be cared for. Your needs are the last to be taken into account. So I'm simply saying, are you willing to consider your own needs at least as much as everyone else's? Then the next bump is, are you willing to consider yourself and your needs more than everyone else? Then are you willing to consider your needs first? So what this looks like is, first of all, notice if you heard me say, consider your own needs and no one else's, because I didn't say that. Again, yes, Yvette, the both and. So what this looks like is, instead of entering a situation and I'm automatically going to, what do they think, what do they want, what do they need, what do they feel, to actually orient here first, to check in here first. What do I think? What do I want? What do I need? What do I feel? And begin to move from there. This is a really big shift. I know. I've done it. I get it. Trust me. I'm not sharing anything with you that I haven't moved through myself. Wendy, hi Nancy. I just made a decision to complete focus from now until I move is health, right? Health, self-caring, moving, and making the best of my business with the 8 hours I work and get my income up. This is what I want and need now. Awesome, Wendy. Great. Okay, beautiful. So again, I want to remind you, free workshop next Wednesday, your Reinvention prescription. I hope you will join me. I'm just going to let you know that I've got a really special announcement that I'm going to be making during that workshop, so I don't want you to miss it. So join me next week. Again, the link is nancylevin.com/workshop, and I'll see you there, and I'll see you here again next Thursday. All right, loves, take care.